Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How about you?
I'm not doing too bad. Excited to talk some.
Love the enthusiasm.
I know we got a little enthusiasm. We're like mid-work day on lunch break here doing this, so chill out with that. I'm staring at a computer all day doing marketing stuff, but besides the point, yeah, it's going. We're going to talk a little roster cuts, I think. I feel like we should talk that. And we got some questions to finish up as well. And just to start this off, I know that I said that, like, I called the last podcast Reed Detmers. I totally thought we talked about Reed Detmers a lot. So I apologize.
Off the record, we did.
We definitely did off the record because it was like a constant, like, we definitely talked off the record about it because, but let's just like kind of start there. Reed Detmers is going to win the Rookie of the Year. Can I just say that right now? Like, since I named the last podcast that, I'm sorry again, guys, for that. But let's talk about it right now. Reed Detmers is going to win Rookie of the Year. Is that fair?
No, my favorite prospect in all of baseball is going to win Rookie of the Year. Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt, even is he starting up there?
It sounds like he's got a real shot to make the team in Kansas City, even if he doesn't make the team out of spring. I think he makes the team within the first 2 months, and all you need is a couple months.
There's a lot of good young prospects coming up. Yeah, Adley, I think, coming up, right?
Adley will probably make his big league debut this year. J-Rod probably makes his big league debut this year. Like I said, Bobby Witt Jr. You got a shot to see Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green to make the team out of spring. That would be impressive for those two young guys. So there's a lot of talent this year at Rookie of the Year. I'm not going to say Reed Detmers can't win it, but it usually, if a position player puts up good numbers, they typically will lean position player over pitcher just because they play a little bit more. So, and you got to love the swing comparisons between Bobby Witt Jr. and Mike Trout.
Don't do that.
I didn't do it.
No, I know, and it's just
I didn't do it, but it's a thing.
Same.
It's a thing.
New Year, same story type of thing, like we can't compare stuff. Don't compare anybody to Mike Trout.
I compared swing path, and that is it. I did not compare players.
We can all have batting practice swings like Mike Trout has, all right? Can all have
but he did it in game.
That's fine. And looking at the top 100 list on Pipeline, you have Witt, Rushman, who's probably going to make his MLB debut this year. Yep. J-Rod, like you mentioned, Torque, Riley Green, Grayson Rodriguez probably makes his MLB debut. Gabriel Moreno, he's working in AAA for Toronto. I know there's a lot of catchers there, but like top 10 prospect, it's gonna be hard not to bring him up, especially with the year they're about to have. Volpe probably doesn't make it.
Nope.
I would assume CJ Abrams has a chance to make it if there's an injury or two.
That's National League though. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, top 8 prospects in baseball are all AL guys.
Yes.
For the Pipeline. And then you go Abrams, who's San Diego, Alvarez, who's with the Mets. And then you go AL again with
Shane could throw well too. Tampa Bay. Yeah, that'll be tough.
Tristan Casas is up already in Boston. I mean, Reed Detmers again, like we mentioned. We saw Hunter Green's going to pitch.
He did make the rotation. Congrats to the SoCal kid.
Yeah, dude, this is going to be a fun year of young players. I mean, damn, this is impressive actually. Really impressive to see. I know it's Pipeline and everything, and kind of take it with a grain of salt with Pipeline, but regardless, I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So, guys, just want to thank you all so much for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos, again, making us the best Angels podcast out there. I don't even have to like say that I think we are. I know we're the best Angels podcast out there. Again, I don't want to be cocky or anything like that. Cocky is not a thing. Confident is. I'm confident that we are the best Angels podcast out there. Sorry, a little bit of a leadership advice there from Jared. But yeah, again, making us the best Angels podcast out there. If you could go subscribe, hit that. Is there a bell? Everybody says hit the bell on.
Yeah.
Hit the bell. Is that a thing? Yeah, hit the bell. I'm gonna have to start saying that too. Subscribe to us again wherever you're listening to us. YouTube, let's see, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you can find a podcast. That's where we will be. You can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Timms. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34, and Nate, let's get it rolling here. Let's talk actual Angels baseball. I do like talking baseball, prospects in general, but we do have some cuts that need to happen here fairly soon. I don't know when that's going to be, but they have to happen
next Wednesday.
Yeah, they have to definitely happen soon. We're looking at the roster right now. They need to make 4 cuts. We think it's down to 5, 6 players, right? I mean,
yeah.
you look at it, and Cooper Criswell's still there. I don't think he's pitched this.
He has not thrown yet this spring, at least in big league camp.
Yeah, assume that he's probably not going to make it. I know he's been dealing with a shoulder injury. Jimmy Herget's another name where I'm still surprised that he's on the Angels at the moment. But at the same time, he did pitch well, and I don't mind. I don't mind that type of thing. So I honestly do think he pitched kind of well, and it's funky. I know it's not ideal coming out of the bullpen, but it's a change of pace. Like you see Jose Marte and Oli Ortega, 2 other names that possibly get cut and go down to AAA or make the opening day roster, and those guys are upper 90s, and then you throw Jimmy Herget, who's a low 90s guy coming from like where his shoulder is shot putting the ball. It's different. I know that that's kind of weird to say that, but it's different, and it could actually really, really play out for them. Jose Quijada is another name. I think he's going to make the team, but it's still worth noting that he may not make the team. Jose Rojas is a name that has been really good this spring, but we've seen him really good in the spring in the past, and I think he almost led the Angels in doubles for the first half of the season last year. I think he had 9 in like 18 games or something like that. Something crazy to start the season off. He got really hot, and he is the SoCal kid, so it's always good to see that as well. But other than that, I think that's kind of what you're down to.
There's one more that Angel fans think should be cut.
David Fletcher?
Jaime Berea.
Jaime Berea. That is a name. I don't think you can cut
Everyone
him.
keeps mentioning Jaime Berea. I don't think you can get rid of him. I know everyone's like, oh, you send him to the bullpen and, you might lose a potential starter out of Jaime Berea. But, like, what he could be in the bullpen would be very, very huge for a team that, has some question marks in their starting rotation. And if we have a guy like Jose Suarez goes out there and goes, an inning and a third, we don't want to run through 7 different pitchers in a day. And we don't really have a guy who it's like, oh, hey, go get us 3 or 4, maybe 5 innings and just kind of eat it for us for today. We'll give you 2 days off, and, hopefully this doesn't happen again for another couple of days. And he throws upper 9s out of the pen, so he could be very good.
Jaime Berea throws upper 9s out of the pen?
Like 97. He's 95, 97. I saw him hit a 7 last year. I swear I saw him hit a 7.
Find out when you saw Jaime Berea touch 97. If you told me he touched 95, I'd be like, wow, that he hit 95.
I thought he was 93, 95 last year.
I could see 90. I could see 90, 92, 94 touching 95. Maybe.
Let's see.
Show me what his max velo was last year.
I want to see.
But on the Jaime Berea train as well, he's only 25 years old.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, he's still young. I didn't know. I didn't even know that looking at it. I thought he was like 26, 27. He came up young, and he's just hitting his prime right now. I wouldn't want to get rid of it. I know that he's one of those guys who's going to eat up innings in the bullpen, but everybody needs one. And again, he's hitting his prime. He was a top prospect for the Angels at one point. The fastball and changeup play really well. I know the slider has been in the works as well. You only
need 2 pitches out of the pen, yeah. Too. You don't need
fastball changeup works. You look at Jose Suarez, who had a heck of a season. You look at even I know Patrick Sandoval, the slider's a lot better. But you look at Patrick Sandoval, another guy with that lefty changeup that's disgusting. And yeah, actually 2 of the best changeups in baseball when you look at it statistically, in Suarez and Sandoval. So yeah, I'm not with it yet. I don't think that they should quite let him go yet. Do you have stats yet on? Do you have max velo?
I just have his average, which was 94, 93.2.
93.2. Yeah. Like I said, I can't imagine him hitting 97. If you told me like 95, 96, I'd be like,
We'll just say the gun was juiced that day.
Okay, that's fine. It was the Bally Sports, Fox Sports one, and they were playing in Texas, so it was really hot. But yeah, I'm not quite with it. I think Berea makes the team. I'd be shocked if he didn't make the team. But then again, weirder things have happened. So let's get back on to some of these questions. We got a few to go through it here again and again, guys. I'm sorry that I mentioned the Reed Detmers thing last time. I botched that one. Everybody makes mistakes, though. So hang with us here on this one. So first question comes from our boy Dominic Saladana, a.k.a. Nate's Burner. If you don't follow Nate's Burner, go ahead and go follow Nate's Burner right now.
I wish. Yeah, I wish. That's why I put you in the group chat, right? Us three, me, my burner, and you in a group chat.
Yeah. So you talking two different.
I respond to my own group chat.
Yeah, I love it though. It's fantastic. I love getting all the ideas from Dom. So his question though was, when rosters revert back to 26 in May, obviously 2 players get sent down. Does that count as one of their 5 player options for the season?
That just came out today. I'm very glad we did not answer that question earlier. It did just come out today. So today being March 31st, because we are doing this on Thursday.
I guess no.
It does not, as long as they send him down before May 2nd. So May 2nd is the day where rosters have to be back to 26. So if you send them down May 1st, which everyone should do, then you are good. It will not count against you. But if you wait until May 2nd, then it will count as one of your 5.
I like it. I do like that rule. So basically, wait. So time out here. Are there any options before then?
Anyone can go up or down, and it does not count.
It doesn't count. I like that.
Until May 2nd. May 2nd, you send a guy down, then it counts as option number 1.
So
at least that's the way I understand.
So that brings up the question. We just mentioned guys not making the team. Brandon Marsh, Joe Adell. Those don't count as options now, right? As weird as that sounds.
But those guys need to be on the roster to win games.
I know. I think those guys need to be up, and I think those guys need to play. But Brandon Marsh doesn't really have a spot right now. But
no, he does. He does.
Kind of.
He's better than Justin Upton in the outfield.
Yes, he is, and I agree with that. But Justin Upton's gonna get all the,
we'll see.
All the chances in the world to play.
We'll see.
All right.
I mean, you would have said the same thing about Albert Pujols last year going into the year. Oh, he's going to get every single chance to play, and he didn't get every single chance to play.
Well, he started on opening day, and then they put Jared Walsh in, and it was like, well, this needs to happen all the time. Like, you can't. Jared Walsh should not play at all. Like, if it's Albert Pujols, they should have platooned him. Like, plain and simple, it should have been.
But I'm just saying, like, how hard would that be for Marsh to get one opportunity to go off, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, Justin Upton's going to take a backseat.
Yeah, and I don't know how much Marsh has practiced this, but I know that he's practiced first base in the past. Not saying that that's an option because his value comes as a defender in the outfield, but just throwing that out there, you never know with Joe Madden. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw Brandon Marsh at first base randomly out of nowhere, in the 7th or 8th inning of a game. It was he came
probably not 7th or 8th inning.
You get what I'm saying?
But he's too good defensively in the outfield.
Yeah. No, probably you're right. Not in the 7th or 8th.
Maybe like a spot start because they're facing a tough lefty and he's been hot, and you're like, okay, we'll let him play left field because Upton doesn't, or we'll let him play first base and Upton play left field because Upton doesn't look 100% comfortable at first. I could see it, especially if they're facing a Chris Sale who would probably be very tough for Jared Walsh.
Yeah. But just keep that in the back of your head. He's been there, done that. I know he's practiced. I don't know if he's done that this spring or not. So good question there from Dom. Like I said, I don't know about Marsh and Adell. We'll see. We'll kind of see. I'm interested in all this option stuff. It'll be very, very interesting to see. So next question comes from John Gannon. Kind of a question. You're going to like this one, I think. How can we see clearly that Kurt Suzuki sucks at everything catching related, but the Angels front office apparently can't? Can I answer?
You can.
Okay. Kurt Suzuki, and we've had this conversation many times in the past, and I know people don't like this. I know people don't like it, and we've had fans that
your answer is cupcake. Just get it over with.
That's fine. I know, and I do have to get it over.
There's a lot of fluff in this answer.
There is. I'm fluffing it up. But leadership in the clubhouse. I know we wanted that as a coach. But no. I know. It's
very tough to lead from the bench.
It's a leadership in the clubhouse thing. I totally understand it. We've been over this before with the Albert Pujols thing, with who stands next to Albert Pujols every national anthem. Mike Trout. There's a reason why those two stand together. As weird as that sounds, there's a reason why Kurt Suzuki is back on the, and I understand. I get it. I totally do.
Yeah, there is a reason. You want to know the reason? You want to know the reason? There were no other catchers willing to sign with the Angels. Like, there weren't that many free agent catchers to begin with. And then on top of it,
if you really wanted to, like,
you would have had to overpay for somebody.
That's like, you're gonna overpay somebody to, like, Kurt
Suzuki? Be a backup catcher.
Kurt Suzuki got overpaid.
Oh, he did, absolutely. But, like, that's literally what you were gonna have to do to get somebody to come, because a lot of the free agents wanted to stay East Coast, is what it looked like, and
that's fine.
It was just like that's what was left, like. And I think Perry's a little comfortable with Kurt, so it's just one of those comfort things where he has seen the offense before, and he's hoping that there will be offense again. But honestly, I don't think there were many options. You could have probably made a trade, but why give up prospects for a guy that you would rather just give 1.7 and hope he regains offensive force?
Yeah, like I said, it's a fluff answer. It's a leadership thing. I get it. Sure. I get it. But what we've talked about this before. Again, clubhouse presence, Nate. That's what the Angels were missing for a while. The Angels have gone out and done that. You're disappointed that it's Kurt Suzuki. I think everybody is. I totally get it, Nate. I do. I really do. But it's a leadership thing.
I don't know. I don't know if he's the uber clubhouse guy that you're saying he is. I haven't heard that about him. If he came from the Red Sox, after a World Series, I'd probably believe you, like a Johnny Gomes, Mike Napoli, those type of guys who are really good in the clubhouse. If he came from, I don't know, the Red Sox seem to be really good with that. They really think that clubhouse chemistry is a big deal. So not really a place that I've seen him. Doesn't mean he's not a clubhouse guy. It's just not something that gets talked about too much with him. So,
yep. Good question. I guess comment there. We know Kurt Suzuki is not a good defensive catcher. We know, everything, but we don't know behind the scenes. So
it was a real question.
Yeah, no, it was. I'm just saying, don't know behind the scenes. So, good question. Next question comes from Anthony Rengoat. That's a good one. I like that. At Tony Two Bags, I think is what it is. Realistically, how do you want second base shortstop playing out this year?
Not the way it's going to.
That's fair. That's fair. With what can I rephrase that question? With what the Angels have, how do you want it to play out?
Still not the way it's going to. David Fletcher is going to play shortstop probably 140 games this year from what it looks like. Joe Madden came out and said David Fletcher is the starting shortstop opening day. So that does not mean things could not change. Things could obviously change. There could be someone available that the Angels didn't think would be available. Fletcher may struggle early and have to move back to second. I would prefer to see Tyler Wade at shortstop every day, and then Duffy and Fletcher, just kind of platooning a little bit. Duffy platooning with Wade more. So maybe Fletcher only plays like 30 games at shortstop, and instead of 140, which I think Wade should play about 140 games at shortstop with what the Angels have right now.
So the question that starts, how many different guys are going to play shortstop this year? You got Renifo, you got Fletcher, you got Wade. I would assume Duffy at some point will probably play shortstop.
Maybe.
So you got 4 guys. Divide that by.
Did you say Mayfield?
Mayfield probably gets a little bit in there. You get let's see.
Velasquez. The over/under is 5.5.
Over/under is 5.5. But like the legit guys that are going to start up. So
I have it over.
Those 5 guys. Well, Renifo's not even starting up at this point.
No, he's not.
So you look at it. Let's say 160 divided by 4. My math is horrendously bad. That's what, 40 games each-ish. So 40 games each from each of those guys. If each guy got, and this is going to sound weird, if each guy played 60 games there, I know that's over it, but like you're able to platoon and mix guys in, late in the games and such like that, and you didn't have any injuries, I'd be okay with like 60 games each between those 4 guys, and then whatever happened with Renifo and Vasquez and those type of guys, that is what it is. But you kind of get what I'm saying with that 60 games each type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Where, maybe Duffy started the game at short, seventh, eighth inning. It's like, hey, we'll just throw Wade in there, and
Yep.
he's probably a little bit better defender.
Yeah,
I really want to see
that
Wade
David
play.
Fletcher needs to get the majority of the reps there, just because I know that's bad. Like if David Fletcher played 100 games there, that's where I'd be like, okay, that's fine, because then like you bring some different guys in there. You can more platoon at second base in a sense. I don't want to see anybody play more than 100 games. Like if it was me, and this is going to sound really weird, I don't want to see any of those guys play more than 100 games in general, including David Fletcher. Like I think all those guys.
I think he's going to play about 145 to 150 games total, and he's going to play about 130 to 140 games at shortstop.
I do too, but
I want to see Tyler Wade get a real chance. I think Tyler Wade is something that he brings something different to the offense that the offense hasn't had in a while.
Yeah.
He brings a speed element to this offense where it's like he can bunt, he can steal, he can force action, he can hit and run, which I know Joe loves to do. So he will make this offense a lot better if he plays every day. But it is really hard for a guy who's only playing, 2-3 times a week to really be good offensively. So I really want to see him get a chance.
And you bring up a good point there, and we'll just kind of end it on this. But like we've talked about guys getting consistent time and not knowing what's going on in a sense. I know this is been premeditated before the season that this is going to happen, but like you got to figure out how to get on a roll. And some of these guys may not play this role very well. I know Wade has done it well in the past, but some guys need like legitimate time. As weird as that sounds, like if you're playing 2 days a week, that's hard to get, your live ABs in. And I know you're taking BP and taking ground balls, but nothing is live. So getting on a roll like that
is completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Getting on some type of roll where you're playing consistent games, that's going to be kind of huge too. So we'll see how it rolls out. If I'm on the, I hope that none of these guys play 100 games, but that is what it is. Like if everybody put up Matt Duffy numbers from last year, I'd be perfectly happy. 90 games each at each position in a sense. I think that would work, but that's not how it's going to roll. I don't think. I think Fletcher's going to get it. So, good question there. Next question comes from Willie Schaefer. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on Matt Thaiss. I'll start it off. Good arm. Defense has gotten better defensively down in the minors behind the dish that I've noticed at least. Doesn't have the leadership ability yet behind the plate, but would probably be one of the better offensive catchers in baseball. Is that fair to say? Is that weird?
That is weird to say, especially since you're looking at Realmuto, Contreras. Like there's a bunch of guys. Garver's even pretty good offensively. There's a bunch of offensive catchers right now, especially with the way the game's going.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to say that he's going to be the one of the top, because when you say one of the better offensive,
I say top 10. Like I would say, like if he got consistent ABs behind the plate, it'd be a top 10 catcher.
Maybe it would be close. He would be in that. I don't even want to compare this guy. I wanted to say like in the Gary Sanchez era, where like he's hitting 220 and like 20 bombs, but he probably
hits for a better average, less power than Gary.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There's so many catchers that rake. It would be hard. I mean, you can call Salvador Perez, Realmuto, Contreras. I said you can call him. That's why I said it that way. Contreras, Realmuto. There's just so many guys. Will Smith rakes. I know we talked about him the other day. So he's probably closer to 15th to 20 range, but I could see him being a serviceable catcher in the major leagues.
Yeah, he just needs to, at the end of the day, needs to do the job description well, or the robot umpires need to come into play. So good question there. Let's get on to our last question here. This one kind of sounds a little funky, so I might modify it a little bit. I think it's bullpen. But this one comes from Austin. With the Angels bolstering their own this offseason, does it make them competitive enough to make a run at the division? And like I said, I think it's bullpen. I think what he meant was bullpen. So we'll at the division. Nate, I think I know your answer to this. Go ahead and take it negative.
I'll just say Joe Madden came out and said the other day, he said, this team really reminds me a lot of 2002. Percival Iglesias, and then they had Weber, Donnelly, Scott Shields, and Frankie later added to that team. That bullpen put up a 2.98 ERA. The starters put up a 4.00 ERA. So if you want a chance to win the division, one, you need Houston to be very injured. I think Houston's got a very good ball club. Whether they cheat or not, they're still a very good ball club. They are getting Justin Verlander back to a rotation that honestly struggled last year. Like, Greinke didn't pitch as good, and Verlander got hurt early, so they're getting Verlander back, which is going to be tough for the Angels as well. They'll see him. I think he's throwing game 3, if I remember correctly, of the season, so they will see him. And you're also going to need Jeremy Pena and Lesmez Diaz, guys like that, they're shortstops, to really, really underperform. Because, yes, they are a very offensive team. They got Kyle Tucker. They got Michael Brantley. They got Altuve, Bregman. Like, all these guys are very talented offensively. You're going to need that team to underperform. When it comes to the Angels bullpen, the Angels do have a good bullpen. I think MLB came out and ranked them 6th. Is that what it was?
6th in major leagues.
6th in the major leagues, which is good. Yeah, which is a very good bullpen. They're gonna need some help. I think offensively, everyone expects them to be just absolutely stupid. I'm not gonna say absolutely stupid. I want to see. There's so many question marks for me offensively with Walsh. Can he hit again? And then, our friends telling us that Jake Cronenworth isn't a proven player. So according to that, Jared Walsh is not a proven player. So I'm going to put a question mark on him. Joe Dell is going to be a question mark, obviously. Brendan Marsh is going to be a question mark. Whoever plays second base or shortstop is going to be a question mark. So there's going to be 6 question marks in this lineup, 5 question marks in this lineup, depending on how you want to look at it. So if this team can continue to hit and the bullpen pitches to what is expected, because we know that it's not always too expected. Archie Bradley was very good at points last year and very, very bad at points last year. Aaron Loop has been very, very bad in his career until the last, 3 years. Tapara has been very, very average. And then this last year, he was very, very good. So, yes, they have a quality bullpen. It needs to pitch up to the expectations. And you're going to need some help. I think that this roster still needs a player or two to win a division, especially when you're competing with the likes of Houston and, Seattle got better and Texas got better. So it's going to be a tough division. It's not going to be like, oh, it's there for the taking. It's still Houston's division until somebody takes it from them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I mean, you can't count out anybody in the West this year. I mean, even Oakland, I know who's made some trades, but, like, we've talked about it before. It's Oakland. Like, they were projected to win 60 games a couple of years ago and just continued to be Oakland. So, like I said, can't count anybody out, including the Angels. Can't count the Angels out. I know they have been unlucky, I think is the correct term, in the past with injuries and everything like that. But yeah, you can't count anybody out. It's going to be a tough division. I think the AL is a tough league in general this year. I mean, we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast the amount of minor leaguers that are going to be coming up and the youth that's going to be coming up this year in the AL alone. So yeah, you can't count anybody out this year. I mean, the only teams that I think you can really count out at the moment are the Baltimore Orioles. That's really the only team in the AL that you're like, they're not going to really probably do anything. Everybody else, like the Central, I think all 5 teams can make it interesting. Even Cleveland, who
Kansas City, Detroit. I could see Cleveland going and just saying, you know what, we started the year, 10-3. Our pitchers have been lights out. Our offense has been very bad. Michael Conforto, our checkbook is open. Here's, whatever we can give you. Let's see if you can go help this offense.
Exactly.
So I could easily see Cleveland doing that and going to make a run in that division. Chicago's going to be good. Minnesota. I'm always going to say Minnesota sucks just because my good friend is a Twins fan. Shout out to him. He knows who he is right now. So, yeah, Twins last place always. That's always my rule. And even if they make the playoffs, they still haven't won a playoff game before the Angels. The Angels have won a playoff game more recently than the Minnesota Twins,
All right,
so we can go to sleep happy.
We get it. All right. I know. Go ahead and show this to Hot Dog when you.
Oh, he'll get it.
That's good. Very good. So yeah, but back onto it before Nate went on his little rant there. It's the American League is wide open. I don't think there's a favorite to win the World Series. I know that like everybody's saying someone from the East is going to do it, but I don't think there's a favorite to win the World Series this year, and I don't think there's a favorite in any division. I think that like you could pick a name from a hat and be like, Jared, the Detroit Tigers are winning in the Central and the Mariners are winning in the West, and I'd be like, yeah, makes sense to me. Like I think they could do it. Definitely do, So, that's kind of where it stands. So guys, again, thanks for all the questions over this last week. We're gonna be getting into actual baseball season next year. We're gonna have some actual stuff to talk about, hopefully. We'll see what happens. I know a lot of signings happen in this next week with guys getting let go. I think a lot of some trades I think might happen down the road. We're already seeing some guys get let go in the minor leagues. But yeah, we'll kind of see how everything goes and see, how many podcasts we get out next week. I think we might go with a 5-er since I think next week's opening week, right?
Thursday is the first day.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that. It's going to be a fantastic day. I'm not working that day. Just kidding. If my work is listening to this, I don't think they are. But yeah, guys, just want to thank you all so much for listening and watching this podcast, wherever you're doing that. Hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening or watching. Pound the bell, I guess, is a thing that we got to start saying on YouTube. Hit that bell. You can follow myself on Twitter at Jared_Timms. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.